Are you looking to develop real estate and get into the business or learn more about real estate? Maybe you've done your first deal and you want to learn more. I have a special guest here for you today. We're going to pick the brain of Sinmi Demuren. He is with Demuren Inc. He does development in not only Washington, D.C., now newly in Houston, Texas, where I live. Sinmi, we are so happy to have you today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, so I've got quite a few questions for you. I'm like so interested in what you have to say. So thanks for taking the time today.
No problem.
So tell us a little bit about your background and like what got you into real estate.
Okay, well, my full name is Sinmi Demuren. Origins from Nigeria. My father is Nigerian. My mom's Nigerian. Real estate has been in our blood. I've been doing real estate for as long as I can remember, literally. Like when me remembering my father is seeing him on site doing his development projects and being in his truck. So development has always been something that I've dreamed of doing. I just didn't know when, how I would get deep and involved into it. Well, when I was working with my father, I used to do concrete as a kid. And when I was like 15, 16, to try to make money to have fun in the summer. So after college, it was just kind of a no-brainer to just delve into the business and just take it on, honestly.
Oh, that's amazing. So is he still in Nigeria doing business?
We moved here to America. I wasn't born in Nigeria, but I just
Oh,
like
gotcha.
I just like telling the story because it honestly starts in Nigeria with the developments there and then now here.
Nice.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
just
what
like
got
to.
you interested?
Yep. Honestly.
Oh,
hmm
that's a great story. So you started in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
So you ended up, did your family move to Washington, D.C. and that's where you kind of started, or how'd you get to D.C.?
Yeah, so my family moved to Washington, D.C. when I was very young. So we honestly started there. And then from there, it took me till I got older to expand now to Texas, which we are here.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you what inspired you to come down to Texas? Because, you've been in DC for a while.
Well, it kind of got not boring, but I like exploring. I like doing new things. Doing the same thing for 20 years straight, 10 years straight kind of gets boring. So I was honestly looking for areas to move to expand because real estate is something that you have to be hands-on with, especially with permits and then issues arise because issues will always arise. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so honestly, it's now finding the best fit for your business and also yourself. And if you have a family, your family. So Texas and Miami were the options, and obviously with family being the main thing, Texas felt like the better fit. So
Nice.
me being here in Houston specifically, it's just been great, honestly. I have nothing but good things to say.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mhm.
So, send me what makes Texas an attractive market other than just for family living and, your own personal, what you wanted to. I mean, you mentioned it was either Florida, Miami, or here. So what made you come to that conclusion? Like, what kind of statistics did you look at to know, like, hey, Texas is one of the two places I would go?
Oh, that's a very good question. Well, I looked at the job opportunity for people here, and honestly, being in the real estate industry, that's huge because you want to have people to fill in your homes, your single family homes, your rentals, things of that sort. So having that there, and then also the wide range of how Houston is, it's just Texas in general. It's just compared to none. I understand why people say everything's bigger than Texas. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's a very good place for someone to start off, especially with the affordability as well. So there's just many things, and then the migration from COVID. It's just a plethora of things to just see that real estate is going to be booming here for a very long time. So I saw that as an opportunity to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I agree. That's
Mhm.
that's awesome. So send me, how do you identify new projects? Like, how do you identify, hey, I want to buy this piece of land and develop it? What are kind of some of the basics that you could tell somebody that's new to this of what you look at?
It's not one word, but I would say one word. For me, it's location, location, location. First thing I look at is the location. Then I worry about everything else, the price per square foot, all those things. If the location isn't desirable, if it's not a place that I would want to live, or not even want to live, but just a place that I don't see up and coming, or if it's not established, I kind of shy away from it, honestly, because I'm in the business of doing development now. I'm not in it for 10 years later and 20 years later. Not saying that it's not good. It's just not my niche. My niche is to work on a project, focus on it, complete it, either build to rent or build to sell. So location is my number one thing. After that, it's kind of just buying a dollar for 75 cents or 80 cents. Is just now finding the right deal for you. Sometimes you see deals and you're like, wow, I would love to have this project. I would love to work here, but the deal may not work for you. And it's no reason to chase a deal. That's a big downfall in a lot of people. They just buy things they like, you know.
Okay, so location. So obviously you do research around hot areas, up and coming areas, where are people working and playing and commuting and all of those things.
Exactly.
Did you, since you were new to Houston, and when you're new to a market, like who did you kind of inquire with, like local Better Business Bureau, or how did you get connection to people that could give you those statistics?
Great question. Again, me, I'm an active person. So I would get on social media, I would contact some people, I would find events to go to, I would talk to people, and then I would just weave in the people who I feel like I should talk to through there. So let's say I go to an event that's let's say it's at a bar or it's at a restaurant and it's something with realtors, developers, investors. I may meet some people and then just piggyback from there, get the numbers, and then just go from there. So with that going, I would just go to the job sites. Some people I go to job sites, some people I meet again at a meeting, and then we'll just collaborate from there and just talk, and then they'll give me recommendations. So it's honestly, it's not a one-day thing, it's a everyday thing. Every day you're talking, new things arise. When they may see a deal, they may send it to you. You may see a deal, you may send it to them. So relationships need to be nurtured, the correct ones. They need to be nurtured so they're going on for years and years and years. And that's a real business, I feel like.
So what I hear you say is networking. You get out, you've got to get busy, get dirty, not dirty in a bad way, but like you got to get in and do the work and meet people and shake hands and have some coffees and
Exactly. You really, exactly. You really have to get in where you fit in, honestly, because when you're new in an area, you don't want to just go off of research. Knowledge is good, but experience is better. I would say that.
That's really powerful. I mean, I released a book last year in October called Big Hug, Big Kiss, How I Became a Referral Magnet. Like anybody can do it. And none of it had social media in there. Like I started pounding the pavement in 95, and still to this day, the number one way that I started to build a business with a huge foundation is through networking. Like that's the way that I did it. So there you have it. See, you just confirmed my whole book, my whole
confirmation.
Big Hug, Big Kiss. Go get you one. So you're a developer. In fact, we're working on a project right now that we're going to be helping finance. So what is the difference? What's the basic difference between a developer and an actual builder? Like just the bullet points of the difference for someone out there that might want to know that.
Okay, well, a developer is there in a project from the beginning. The developer first secures the funds for the project. He funds the project and gets the permits for the project by hiring engineers and architects to do it. And then now he meets the builder when the permit is, it goes to the city and you have the approved stamp. So the builder is kind of just the builder, honestly. He builds the project.
He just puts the plan together.
Yeah, not to down them, because builders are the main component to real estate. Is just to say the developer is someone who is there from the beginning to the end. He has to develop it, he has to build it, not physically, but he has to get it built, and then he has to build it or rent it. You know, he has to sell it or rent it.
You're the visionary, and the builder's carrying the plan to fruition.
Exactly.
The plans that you've envisioned it, you've developed the project. Okay, cool.
Exactly.
Nice. So can you walk us through just, again, basics of from beginning to end? What are the steps? You don't have to go super in depth, but like the steps of doing, I mean, you mentioned some of them. So let's talk about it. So you identify the location. We already talked about that, the number one thing.
Yes.
And then what would be next if you went in order?
Okay. I would say find a location. That's number one. Then now negotiating a deal. You may come across your first deal, you're probably not gonna deal with it successfully. The person may want more than you asked for, then you have to go to another deal. Then you may go back to the deal and see that that deal hasn't been sold yet and say, hey, I'm willing to offer you this. So find a location and then buying the property is the 1-2 punch. Then after that, yes. And then after that, now you have to deal with what are you going to do with the project? Are you going to develop it? Are you going to do townhomes? Are you going to do condos? Are you going to do a single family? Then now you meet with the architect, you meet with the engineers, you get that dealt with, and then you get the permit. So now after you're done that, now you do construction with the builder.
So you find a builder.
Yes. You find the builder, and then now you build it since you have the permits that you got from the architects and engineers. And then now you deal with a realtor. Are you gonna build to sell? Or are you building to rent? And then that's kind of the magic right there.
Yeah. So I have a question rewinding to the financing part. Now, I only do residential stuff, but on commercial, well, you need to go to a commercial like a bank. So let's talk about that. So to secure the financing, it's your company that, as the developer, that you're securing the financing to buy the land. Is that right?
Yes, but you're also working along with banks. So a lot of people that buy land, they would use things to borrow against so they can now get money for the construction. Or sometimes you have to put the money forth. So I can give you an example, a project that we've done, a 45 unit project called Demuren View in Washington, D.C. on 8th Street in Northeast D.C. That project was a 45 unit project. And with things of that nature, you're not literally using all of your money to build it. You're now getting collateral. You're now using things that you own to borrow to now build that
or against it.
Yes.
How much collateral really do you need to have? Like 20%, 30%?
It kind of depends. I would say people say you need 80-20, but it kind of depends because the only reason I say that is your relationship with the bank. If you've been doing a relationship with the bank for a very long time, it's not the same. Me, I'm young, but my father has been doing business with the bank for a very long time. So you see, so it's not, so for just to make it known to the audience, we're a family-run business, so it starts off with my father. I'm a developer as well, so we all work in tandem. So things of that sort, it's not. My situation isn't going to be the same for everybody, so it's kind of hard to give like that.
Yeah, no, and that's a good point. But I think what the main thing that I heard is relationships. So for investors that are like in residential, let's say they're doing one deal and like, oh, I need a hard money lender. I don't want to give any financials, no money down. They're using ARV, after repair value. Like, I'm not sure if that exists in development. Like, like we're talking about raw land that has nothing producing on it, right? Like,
exactly.
Actually developing. So I would think you need to have some skin in the game. You probably need to have some assets, have some, wherewithal. I mean, you were able to luckily get started with some of the foundation that your dad built, but for someone that doesn't have that, they need to probably have some money.
Like as long as collateral, a lot of times you have to put up money as well. So it's not just the collateral. The banks look at it as a bigger risk, if it's a new relationship.
Yeah, and if it's your first time too, like if you don't have the experience of being a developer, the cool thing is your dad vouched for you, I'm assuming, and said, hey, I'm going to be watching his every move. And the bank felt more comfortable with that. So if you're new going in it, maybe consider doing a project with someone who's got experience, right? Would you suggest that? Like,
oh yes, definitely. Because I wouldn't even say this 45 unit project I did by myself. This was mainly my father, and I'm the one doing all the groundwork. I'm the one getting it done. I'm the one making sure everyone's doing the work. We're a small boutique development family-run business, so we do all the work. We make sure everything is running well. So definitely, this is not something that I will advise doing by yourself, honestly.
Yeah, getting with someone, family or not family, that knows what they're doing. And even though you were doing all the work, your dad, I'm sure, was there, super proud, I'm sure, by the way, watching and making sure that you didn't make any big, huge potholes, mistakes.
Exactly.
So let's talk about mistakes. What are some common mistakes that, I know you had your dad there, but I'm sure he's still, everybody makes mistakes, right? I'm sure he makes them too. But what's a big one that you can remember? Like, oh my gosh, telling somebody new into this is what I've learned. Do not do this. Like, what's a couple of the life lessons you've learned?
I would say buying material you haven't seen before. Like, for example, you can buy, I forgot the company's name, or did I? But there was a company we bought toilets, and the toilet seat was just so wiggly. It was for 45 units, so that's just annoying. Another thing was tile company promised that it was the same exact tile, so that was another 20 units. So just just little things like that. But I can even give another instance here in Houston. I had bought a piece of land and the minimum lot size was actually bigger than what we thought. So we thought we were going to do 3 homes, but now we're doing 2. Sometimes problem arise, but you just have to be creative and innovative and just not give up. Just know that, things happen and you just have to make a lemon with the lemonade you have.
So I think what I heard you say is really don't buy things sight unseen, whether it's land, materials, say, hey, send me a sample, or just say, hey, maybe I'll give you a deposit and then upon delivery, I'll give you the rest of it, kind of a thing. Is that how you would avoid that? Like, how would you even avoid that now, learning what you did about the toilets, for example?
Oh yeah, I would just honestly just stick with what I've been doing. Sometimes people give you options like, hey, this toilet is $219 or $195. It's cheaper than what you've been using, but sometimes, man, it's best to deal with what
Still
you know.
take shortcuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha. So is the 45 unit project the biggest one that you've done to date, or is that your biggest project, the 45 units?
Yeah. That's the biggest condo project. Right now, we have about 5 projects in Washington, D.C. that are in the $3 million range and
nice.
$2.9 million range. So we kind of went over to the single family luxury game, kind of sort of. So we still have condos going, but we're kind of focused in that area right now.
Yeah, that's what you're doing here in Houston. So tell us, so excited, the one that we're connected on. Tell us about Demuren Luxury Homes. That's going to be in the Montrose area.
Oh yes.
Montrose, yeah.
No, Museum District.
Museum District, yeah. It's with an M.
But yes, this is going to be a great project. I'm very excited. It's a great area, good walking score. It's kind of the location you want when doing good development. It's a well-established area. So honestly, you just have to make sure the numbers work and you'll be fine because people are already there to make the community what it is. And it's good. And it's near downtown. There are people's jobs and Ion District.
It's a very nice location. So Demuren Homes, check it out if you're in Houston or looking to come in Houston. Y'all have you broken ground yet?
Oh, yes. We broken ground. We're actually going to start framing probably in the next week and a half or 2 weeks. So that's exciting. Yep.
Yeah. So they're listed on the MLS. So as of right now, so we're in June of 2024. That's awesome. Well, congrats. Yeah. And this is your first project in Houston, right?
Yes. And we actually have another one going. It's in the permit process right now. So that should be going.
You just don't waste time, do you?
No,
you
I can't.
Get on going. That's awesome. So what of your project, the big one, the 45 unit, the condo, what was particularly rewarding about it? Like being your biggest project, like what's something like, oh my God, this is like Mecca. This is awesome. What did you really love about it?
Oh man, honestly, the whole entire process, I couldn't believe it, honestly, because I was the one that, not to say I was the one, because we're a team. I don't believe in big eyes and big me's, but I did come up with the idea that we're doing all these nice towns. We're doing a lot of condos. Let's do something bigger. Like I'm kind of I always like to go bigger and bigger, whatever I do. So I kind of saw it as a dream come true because I remember talking to my dad in the car about, for this project, let's actually do condos that we sell. Let's actually do that. And he honestly just trusted me and said, yeah, you're a great visionary. So I'll go with what you say. So honestly, it's really emotional to my heart, that project, honestly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is that the biggest project also that your dad's done?
Yeah, that's the biggest project. Yeah, that's the biggest project.
You needed your visionary expertise to get him to be able to go out of his comfort zone too, it sounds like.
No, definitely, because then they're probably like, man, I don't know what you got me into, honestly. me too, because dealing with a project that big and it's being your first time, it's kind of, obviously people have bigger projects and have 100 units and 1,000 units, but I'm just grateful to do the 45 I did, so.
Yeah, I mean, you got into a new milestone, you got over a hump. And so like what's in store now that you've done that? Is the next one 100 or what's your next big?
Exactly. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if I did 100. Who can predict the future, but I wouldn't be shocked.
That's awesome. I know you can do it. Mm-hmm. I'll be cheerleading you on. That'd be awesome.
Thank you.
Back to what we talked about, a new project. When you're talking about the viability of a new project, the financial what financial metrics are most critical? I know you talked about location in the beginning, but obviously no matter how good the location, if the numbers don't work, it's like, I love this location, but it's just not working. So what's kind of the number one metric that you kind of look at, if you could even identify it?
I would say it's kind of a slogan because you never really get to it, but it's just buying $1 for 75 cents, 80 cents. You always have to have wiggle room with real estate. So let's say homes are selling for 300 a square foot in the area, and you can get it for, let's say, 275, 265. That's good for you. So it's kind of just understanding the numbers and being very, very particular and just saying that I have this amount of wiggle room and I'm comfortable with that.
Gotcha. Cool. In funding, you said that just making sure you get a good relationship with a banker and just, I mean, sometimes you might have.
Oh no, honestly, with fund, I was just saying that when you were talking about doing, like, when you're doing a big project like that, yeah. But honestly, you can get funding from family members, you can get funding from colleagues. Some people have more faith in you than you even have in yourself, and they're saying whatever project you do next, I want to be on it. Some people are serious and some people aren't when they say that. So it's just having the courage to, talk to people and just show them your dream and them see it come forth. And when people see you do something that they couldn't believe you do, they start believing in you like you had never thought before.
So I'm sure you have to write up like a syllabus and a work plan and say, hey,
yes.
These are the numbers. This is what it's going to cost to build. And then we estimate we can sell it for this. This would be the profit. If you have 1/6 of the investment, you get 1/6 of the profit. Is that kind of how it works?
Exactly. That's kind of exactly how it works. So let's say we bought a piece of land and it was $500,000 and I have three investors. Actually, let's say $600,000 to make it better. 3 investors. Let's hope that we all do 200,000, 200,000, 200,000. Everything from that would just be, split in between how much we put in. Yeah, exactly. With the small management fee, because since they're not doing anything, you obviously have to get paid for what you're doing.
You got to pay. Yeah, for managing the project, so you get a salary.
Yeah. Honestly, but sometimes though, you have to take back from what you're gonna get to make everyone a whole. Some projects you don't make what you think you're gonna make. You may think you sell the homes for $550, but you sold it for $500. So do you take your management fee? So it's just it's situational. You just have to understand. Yeah, exactly.
So what trends? Well, I'm curious. Obviously, the Washington, D.C. market is different than here. Like D.C., I would assume it's more short term. They come and go. They probably have a home somewhere else. They need an apartment during a certain season. Am I right? I mean, just how people live is different.
100% right. D.C. is kind of just small. The homes there are just row homes, townhomes, condos, not that much parking. D.C. is nice though as well. Like it's a great area, but
beautiful city. I've been there. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, but DC, comparing it to DC and Houston it's just night and day. Honestly, it's just night and day. Yeah.
Night and day. So we're just through your studies. Let's just talk about urban areas. DC is super unique, right? Let's put that to the side. Talk about a growing urban area like Houston. What do you see as kind of some of the real estate trends and the future of real estate development in a city like Houston, Texas?
I see a lot of build to rent. I think one of the main reasons why I moved to Houston was because of the affordability. And I don't think people in Houston are getting pushed out of affordability, but I'm more saying towards America. I feel like a lot of people are getting priced out of homes.
Yeah.
So I think a lot more people will be renting because the salaries are not catching up with the prices of the home.
Yeah, you're 100%.
Yeah, that's honestly that may have not answered your question about Houston, about Texas, but
in general, well, people might watch this from all over, so we don't have to concentrate on Houston, but that's the market where you're going. But yeah, you're right. It's so building to rent. So if you're a developer thinking out of the box and not just say, hey, I'm going to build a 200 or 300 unit apartment complex, but is that happening even in the single family space where it's like, hey, I'm going to build these 5 or 6 units and just rent them all? Or are you talking about the bigger commercial, like, hey, I'm going to do an apartment complex?
Oh no, in Houston, I've seen people do a lot of small single family homes. So let's say like 1,300 square feet, 1,600 square feet. They'll buy a big piece of land and just have like 50 of them to 100, and they'll do build to rent. I've been hearing about that a lot. But in DC, it's more of like condos, apartments, things of that sort.
I want to ask you about this. Maybe you can research it and talk to me about it later. But a lot of people want to buy a fourplex or a triplex. Like on TikTok, it's called house hacking. Okay. And it's because you can do an FHA loan. You can live in one of the units if, you know, as long as you don't have a bunch of kids. I mean, I wouldn't want to do that if I had a bunch of kids and a family, but there's a lot of people they're like, hey, for my first place, you know, starting small, let me house hack. I'll buy a fourplex. I'll live in one of them, rent the 3 out. It probably will cover everything. The problem in some cities, I know in Houston, the problem is there's only so many fourplexes and they're mostly downtown. The landlords or the owners of those, they're not letting go of them because they're cash cows, right? They're not doing anything. But so from a development perspective, I'm sure that there's deed restrictions. I'm sure that there's restrictions. Like, do you think that that's a future trend that could take place? Because there's a lot of people that want to do that in the single family, multifamily space that's, you know, less than 4 units.
Yeah, I actually know of some people who build, I know this one guy, he does duplexes. A lot of them, he actually, I think he does fourplexes now, but that's his niche, that's his thing. But I think he does build to sell. I could see that being a thing, but I do just see, I see a lot of townhomes here in Houston, like a lot of townhome development, like smaller townhomes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more of a thing here than someone doing a duplex, a triplex. Yeah. I really don't see that as much. Like, and when I do see them, they're kind of like older homes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Is just there's not a lot of development in that.
Yeah.
Anyway, topic for another day. I'll get the name of your friend and we'll have a chat.
His name is Donovan. You can find him on Instagram. His name is Donovan Builds. He has a big social media presence.
Builds, Builds?
Yeah, Donovan Builds, I'm pretty sure.
Awesome. All right, Donovan, if you're watching, I'm going to call you. So what advice would you give to real estate investors, someone who's doing similar to what you're doing and it's their first time? You talked earlier about don't do it alone, get with someone that's got experience. That's one piece of advice, right?
Yeah,
and what would the second be? Let's say you could do two wishes. You're genie in a bottle. You could do 2. What's the other one?
My other thing would be, don't be afraid to seek investors. Honestly, like there are a lot of people there that are making their money on things, let's say like 2% or 3%. But if you're a young person and you've had a relationship with them, I don't think they will be as hard to not just convince, but to believe in you to do something now. Let's say you're 25 years old, you've been saving up your money, you have a job, you want to go to the next level. You have $10,000, $20,000. You can definitely go to somebody and be like, hey, I have skin in the game. You have skin in the game. I have this proposal to do this. Let's go ahead and go on this project. You probably will get a no. You honestly will probably get a no, but it doesn't.
Game.
Yeah.
Several people to get a yes.
It doesn't hurt to try. Why do I say that? Because if you do good on this first trial, you'll have a second trial, and then you can have a third trial, and then you can have a fourth trial, and then you can be successful in this industry. And if you don't have someone to invest with you, sometimes you have to go to private lenders, even though they charge you a little bit more. But everyone has
it. You get the experience.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone has to start from somewhere, and just because your profit isn't as big as the next man doesn't mean that you won't have your day someday.
Yeah, because then later when you're getting with a bank, like you have a relationship with the bank, I mean, they want to see a track record. Some banks, they don't want to be the first one. Like they don't want to train you and get you out of the diapers. You know, they want to know that you've had a few projects under your belt. For sure.
Exactly.
So what's the number one thing that, let's say with your investors, what's the number one thing that you do to build transparency and trust with people that they're believing in you?
Honestly, I'm just upfront. I don't think that I give off shadiness to people. I'm just pretty much upfront. I'll let you come to the job site. I'll let you look at the numbers. I'll answer when you call me. I'll text you back. I mean, I just think I just do normal human things. Like if someone calls me, I'll call them back. If they text me, if they text me, I'll get back to them. And if I can't do something, I'll tell them I can't do that. Or if I don't agree with them, I will tell them I don't agree with them. I think trust has to do with many other factors. If someone can trust me with their kid, or someone can trust me with some valuable item they have, they can trust me more with a project.
That's good advice. And it sounds so simple because I work that way too. And I'm like, well, that's super simple and logical, but there's a lot of people that aren't that way.
Exactly.
They just, for whatever reason. So it sounds like you're just really easy to work with. And I think it shows. I think people are like, okay, this is good. It's fluid. We feel good about this.
Mhm.
Awesome. Let's talk about AI. That's the big thing. Have you
Oh yeah.
incorporated AI into any of your projects?
Yeah, I incorporate it into my life. Honestly, like if I go to a new area, I would say, well, what are the best things to do here? I don't use it to control me. I just use it to get suggestions. But I think AI is already changing a lot of things,
Yeah.
honestly.
So you use it in like your, for example, in your research, you just, what, do you go to Chat GPT or some equivalent and talk and say, hey, what about this? What about that? Give me these stats, give me this data.
I can give you an example. I can give you an
Yeah,
example.
tell me.
Something just okay. So let's say I'm building a home. I would say, what are the best colors to use for kitchen cabinets in a luxury home in this region? Just basic things like that. Or if I have an idea, like I wouldn't just lean to my own like understanding because in different places they have different suggestions. So
Okay, so for Demuren Homes
Mhm.
in the museum district, what was the answer? What color are those kitchen cabinets going to be?
Oh, I can only give you one color for because we have multiple colors, but one of them are white and wood. So I think that is
Okay,
something
like a
that
darker, like a brown wood, or
yeah, like like white oak, like white oak wood and white.
nice,
So it's clean, nice. It's just that nice ordinary look that everyone
nice
likes
and
in a home.
crisp.
Yeah, it's not one of those wanky colors, all over the
Wanky, is
place.
that what you said? Wanky?
Yeah.
Can you help me out? You're a little bit younger than me. I've got to ask my budding Gen Zers, like, what does that mean?
Oh, that's just something out of there. Or I can give an example. If I show up in your house with a lime green T-shirt and oh Lord, red pants and then purple shoes, you're like, whoa, that looks
That's
wanky.
wanky.
That's just
That's wanky. It totally doesn't match. Okay, I got
yes.
you. I got you. I got you. Okay, I hear you. So technology transforming real estate. I mean, so we talked about AI. Just it's helping development. It's helping you get answers you need faster, so you can get the product to market that people want, which
And
is
then
good
also
for everybody.
upcoming areas, like for example, I would ask them what are trending states, like what areas right now do you see 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Because I don't only want to stay in Texas. That's just another example. Like I would look things up like that so I could just do research on it and make sure that that's confirmed.
So what else about technology? Like I know people want smart homes where you can just have an app on your phone and talk and do this and that. Is that integrated, I'm sure, in all your houses, right?
Oh yes. I keep everything up to date. I don't try to go too high end because then now it can get confusing. Because most buyers aren't 20-year-olds; they're a bit older. So you still have to keep it easy to use, but definitely having touchscreen things and stuff of that nature.
So on a personal level, Sinmi, what personal experiences that have most influenced you in real estate? I mean, you talked about your dad and your experience as a kid. What else through life experiences kind of affected, if any, that you haven't told us already, your journey into real estate and who you've become today?
Well, I'll say every Christmas we play Monopoly, and it took me to about 16 Christmases to realize why I was playing Monopoly.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. You still play Monopoly today?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna keep that tradition in my family. It's basically
Awesome.
my father is basically just wiring me to do real estate and save your
Nice.
money and buy homes. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So he lives in DC?
Oh yeah. He lives in DC right now.
That's awesome. So if you could develop a project anywhere in the world, forget the US, or maybe your answer is the US, where would you go?
Montego Bay, Jamaica, on an oceanfront island. Yeah.
How come? Okay, like I gotta know, why Jamaica?
Just because everything there is just so organic and fresh, like the fruit, the food, the beach. It's just honestly a place I don't need my phone. Whenever I go, I'm going there actually in July 12th, I think. July 12th. I didn't even buy my ticket back when I'm coming back.
You don't know when you're
I don't know when I want to come back because honestly, when I'm there, I'm just so in touch with reality. That's what I'll say. I'm just
That's
so in
awesome.
touch with what's going on at the moment. There's just so many things to do. It's just that's honestly the only place every place I travel to. I've been to Dubai, I've been to Tokyo, I've been to a number of places. I've been to South Africa, Johannesburg, but being there in Montego Bay, Jamaica, for me,
That's Mecca.
Yeah, honestly.
Okay, so we're planting the seed right here. I bet you're going to go in July 12th. You're going to start your networking, and you just don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to be waiting
Please.
to hear about it whenever that return plane ticket is.
Yep.
That's awesome. So, looking back on your career, you mentioned 20 years. What are you most proud of in that, in professionally? What are you most proud of and why?
Coming here to Houston, because it takes, having a family, it takes a lot of courage and a lot of belief in yourself and a lot of faith to just take that leap. It's not a hard leap, because I don't want to discourage anybody, but it's just a little bit challenging. You have to really solidify who you are, because nobody knows who you are. You have to get out there and just make people see you and believe you and just be the best you honestly can be.
Yeah.
And yeah, being there, honestly, like these upcoming projects are honestly my most to the heart projects right now. La Demuren View was, but it's just the move and being here and just solidifying Daimler Inc. here and just meeting the people and just seeing what the future will bring. I believe it will bring great things. So it's just being in the moment now. Honestly, now, what time is it? Whatever time it is right now.
2:47.
Yes, is honestly the best days of my life, because I just feel like I'm creating something amazing.
You'd probably like, there's a book called The Power of Now. It's really good. I think
Okay.
you'd really like it. So you should read or listen to it while you're in Montego Bay. Be a
Oh,
great
please text it to me too. I'll
Power
favorite
of
and
Now.
I'll put it
Yeah,
in my
I will.
notes.
Yeah, let me write that down. Power of Now. It was really, it talks about right here, right now, 2:47.
Yep.
That's it.
And that's how I feel when I go to Montego Bay. Honestly, that's why I'm going back. Honestly, man.
Well, thank you. I really have enjoyed getting to know you. I mean, we've known each other just on a professional level, but I mean, I asked you some super deep questions and I really appreciate it. This has been amazing. So if you got to follow this guy, like you check out his projects, Daimler Inc. It's Daimler Inc. in Washington too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We'll put some links in the description so you can follow some websites, follow some of his projects. But thank you for all your insight today. I think there's a lot of people that watch this are ready to go out and take a leap and say, I'm ready to do this. So thanks for that inspiration. And we'll talk to you soon on the other side of Montego Bay.
Yes. And thank you for having me. And I hope everyone has a great day.
Yeah, you're welcome.